Some trains from Manchester to London were late. The incomplete table and histogram gives some information about how late the trains were. Key thing about histogram is it's the frequency density that you use. Remember, the frequency density is the frequency divided by the width of the bar. So here the frequency is 16, the width of the bar is 5, so 16 divided by 5 is going to be 3.2. Here the frequency is 10, the width of the bar again is 5, between 5 and 10, the difference between those is 5, so the width is 5. So 10 divided by 5 is 2. We're not sure what either of these are yet, so we'll come back to those in a moment. The final bar, the frequency is 8, the width between 30 and 50, the difference between those is 20, so the width of that bar is 20. 8 divided by 20 is 0.4. Right, so let's come down to our histogram down here now then. We know the height of the first bar is 3.2. So we know this here has to be 3.2. That will allow us now to fill in the rest of our y-axis. So I can see here 1, 2, 3, 4 of these big squares takes me up to 3.2. So 3.2 divided by 4 is 0.8. So this is going to have to be 0.8. This would be 1.6. This next one would be 2.4. And this would be 4. So we're using that 3.2 to figure out the rest of the numbers going up the y-axis. Okay, so that's useful now because that will allow us to fill in the next bar. Remember, the next bar had a frequency density of 2. So between 5 and 10 I need to go up to 2. 2 is halfway between 1.6 and 2.4. 2 is going to be here. Hopefully you can see 1.6. We add 0.4 to that to get to 2. Then we add another 0.4 to that to get to 2.4. So 2 is here. So that's going to allow me to draw in this next bar here. There we go. The next bar along here, I can see that the frequency density there, reading over here, is 1.2. That value there is 1.2. So that's the frequency density of this next bar, which will allow me to come up here. The frequency density is 1.2. So now I'm thinking something divided by 10 is 1.2. Well, that's got to be 12. 12 divided by 10 would be 1.2. Or another way of thinking of it, just 10 times 1.2 is 12. The next bar along here, the frequency density here, well, that's 0.4. This here is in the middle of 0.4 and 0.8. So the frequency density here is 0.6. So I can fill that in. And now again I'm thinking something divided by 10 is 6. 0.6, which is 6. 6 divided by 10 is 0.6. Or 0.6 times 10 is 6. Either way you fancy it, you should hopefully see that that's going to be 6 there. And then final bar, between 30 and 50, that's not drawn on here yet, so I'm going to draw it on. The frequency density should be 0.4, which is here. And so I'm going to draw that bar on. Between 30 and 50, the frequency density is 0.4. So that should look like that. And we're done.